Feel a little bit like a radio DJ here. Right? Mellow. Good day, everyone. Hope you guys are doing amazing. I think we had about 17 people at the max. Dropped down to 12. I guess that's some YouTube people just scrolling through. You know the rules. If you're live with me, two things. Drop your name in the chat. And what is the other one? Like. You gotta like the stream. Now, Innocent's on with me again today. So, Innocent, you're going to check whether or not we've got the amount of likes that we should get. But we're going to have a good session today. We're going to have a good session today. Welcome, Teresa. Welcome, Walter. Welcome, Star. Welcome, Innocent. Welcome, everybody, onto the stream today. It's going to be a good one. I'm in the mood to just share stuff, like give stuff away of sorts. Right? Share. Now, of course, inside of the academy as a whole, it's going to be the best that you're possibly going to get. But that being said, doesn't mean I can't give you something. A little something, as they say. The market leaves clues. Coach Brian always says this, success leaves clues, right? I believe he heard it by somebody, but he always says that. And if you look at someone that's successful, they leave some clues behind. Now, the market does the same thing. They leave clues as well. Good afternoon, Isabel. Mr. Chris. Good to see you, sir. I know you haven't been able to join at this time for a while, so good to see you. 15 people, 12 likes, and Innocent is crying. I'm crying with you, Innocent. Crying with you. If you're watching this on the replay, please do me a favor and comment. Please do me a favor and comment. Awesome. Some people are liking so good, the likes are going down. My word. Right? I don't know. I must say, although it is late in South Africa, and sometimes when I end these streams, I feel quite tired. Just because the day was busy. I had a lot of things that I was doing, teaching and stuff, doing a bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, I quite enjoy being on with you guys as well, especially if I believe that I'm giving you some good value. So, quick update on the competition so far, and things are really heating up. And I've seen some interesting stuff there as well. I will say overall, in fact, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you the old competition, and then I'm going to show you the one that we're on now as well, and some interesting things about that. Innocent says I gotta visit Zambia. I should probably. I want to go and see all the African countries. I want to. I think in Africa as a whole, we're so used to wanting to go to Europe and things like that. We forget that we got a lot to see around here as well. Now let me show you something. I'm going to show you the previous competition. This is not the one that you guys are on right now. Give me a 10 in the chat if you're still with me. Forgive me, my eyes are red. It's quite late. It's quite late here. Let me bring this up. So I think this one was last year. Right? And I want you to pay attention to the percentages over here. Right? Look at the percentages. The top percentage was 7.2. Now, I want you to go back here and look at this one. It's 2.3, and generally on the one that we're on right now, right, the percentages are lower. And I actually like that. You know why? I think that people are not swinging for the fences this time around. They are trying to go slow and steady. Shout out to Mr. Walter as well. I've seen Mr. Walter literally. Mr. Walter, if you're on here, shout out to you. I think you are on here. But I've seen you climb this slow and steady, and that to me was quite impressive. What I mean by that is you are probably the most consistent slow and steady trader across the board. In the sense that you were literally climbing up the ranks day by day by just trading small and consistent. And that's what it's about. Now, when most people see 0.63%, they think, wow, that's not enough return for me for the month or anything, but that's just it. You don't have to make that much. You just have to prove that you're consistent. And when you're consistent, all you need to do is up the lot size, right? That's all you got to do. And so that 0.63 could easily become a 6.3%. Now let's go and look at something here. These are not big lots, right? Maybe with you got the 5 over there, but the rest of them are not too big, which is nice. It's slow and steady. You're managing it. The 3s are big, but I mean, even these 1s are good. So shout out to you, Mr. Walter. Well done. Redat has taken the top spot, and Darren as well, climbing up the ranks as well. Darren. Chris also coming up slowly. I saw Chris coming from the back as well, slowly. I think yesterday Ashwin was up on top. And, that's just it. You got to take no risk, no reward, right? No risk, no reward. And so sometimes you got to take the shots and go lower. That's okay. As I told you guys before, if you stay in the competition long enough, then these numbers will change drastically, just like they change from week 1 to week 2. And then also, here's some others with 0%, right? So that makes you think that, wow, these people haven't even been trading, but they have. Let me show you. It's just smaller lot sizes. Now, what I like about this is, if you were to up that lot size to a standard lot, right, or even 10, then this would be either $150 or $1,500, depending on what lot size you're doing. That would be $940, right? That won't be negative $900, but still, this is what I'm talking about. It's just an increase of lot size, right? Now, I'd like to see more from Mr. Wallace over there. Same thing with Jill, right? If you look at all these numbers down here, and all you did, for the most part, if all you did was change this to a 3 lot, right? I think, let me see where you're at. Right, let me see where your account is at now. Yeah, with the fees, so current equity, you could easily have been in the 3rd spot. Right, let me see what Walter's equity is. Yeah. You up your lot size, trade exactly the same as you traded here, you'd be in 3rd spot. Isn't that amazing? It's just a lot size change. Now, of course, some people on the further pages down. Out of 53, we only got 48 left in the competition, still the same. Now, there's 1 day and 20 hours left, so technically almost 2 days. Almost 2 days, right? And everything over here at the top can change drastically. Now, I don't want anybody to go crazy. Don't go and throw your accounts to the wind. But what you can do is, if you're that close, you can up that lot size slowly. Try and go for the top spot. The bragging rights or whatever. Or maybe you just want to go for the 3rd spot. Maybe you want the 10K account. Maybe you want the 5K account. Maybe. And then also keep in mind, some of you don't know. You don't know who's mastermind, who's not here. So if someone who's mastermind, right, is going to get taken out so that others can come up, then that mastermind will get a special gift. However, it will make room for you to come up. So don't give up just yet, right? Don't give up just yet. Stay in the game until the end. Stay in the game until the end. Now, we got 16 people on the stream. Please go ahead and give me a like. Give me a like. Give me a like. I'm going to keep it simple today. I'm going to show you one thing that's always present at a good trade, right? And I'd say this, if you study this will definitely give you confidence around when to enter that actual trade, right? And I will say this, I don't want to say 100% of the time I look for this, because sometimes I get it wrong, right? But I will say that I should never take a trade without it. Right? I should never take a trade without it. Now, if you are an existing student of mine, there's 2 things that price really does. What is that? What are those 2 things? Right? And of course, you've heard me say multiple different versions of it. So maybe Maybe you're gonna answer the wrong two things, but go for it. Go for it. There's two things that price does, and then I'm gonna go to the charts and then show you something. And I'll just select a random chart here today. Oh, you know what? I'll go to Euro USD and then we'll talk through that one. Be the easiest one. Give me a 7 in the chat if you're still here with me. I'm going to teach you something powerful now, which most of you might not get from the get-go. But it's definitely going to be a part of the mastermind cohort coming up soon. And I'm going to give you all the in-depth, right? In-depth. Either it goes up or it goes down. Absolutely. But there's two things that price does. You sound like Coach Clayton. He used to say, you can only either buy or sell, right? That's all you can ever do. You got to choose between one of those two. Resurrection Motorsports. Why do I? Oh, I thought it was someone else I knew. Let me know what your name is. Reach for liquidity, take a higher low, or go to a gap. Yes, that's the one I wanted, right? It's either taking a high or low or trading to a gap. That's all price is ever doing. And if you can choose between which one it's going to do, you know your direction, right? And a big thing that I'm going to be teaching in the actual cohort coming up in the mastermind is going to be timing, right? Time of day. And you guys know the sessions, right? You know the sessions. I've taught you guys. I know there's a lot of our students on here. I've taught you the high probability sessions, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to teach you the high probability times within the session. So no longer needing to sit the entire session in front of a chart. You can come at that exact high probability time. Now, if that's good, hit the like button, say something in the chat. If you're watching this via replay, then please say something as well. Comment, right? If you'd like to know that. I'm excited. You know, some of these things I've been working on for years, and I'm finally deciding, you know what, now's the time. Now is the time to go ahead and share it. Okay, so let me do this. Let me change the stream over to that screen. And we're going to open up a chart. And we're going to take it from there. Thank you, Andrea. 7. Reach for liquidity and take a higher low. Right? Reach for liquidity, which is take a higher low or go to a gap. Looking forward to the mastermind. Yes, Teresa, you're automatically in. So you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna absolutely enjoy it. Thank you for being the only one looking forward to it. We'll forgive the others, right? We'll forgive them. Okay, let's go. I'm sharing my screen now. There we are. Okay. This is a chart, Euro USD. And I'm going to start at the bottom and just show you that price is really just doing two things for the most part. Sometimes it overshoots the little, but that's, based on whether or not there was a gap or whether or not there was liquidity. But let's just take this random spot here at the bottom. I'll start and work my way up. And you'll see what price is doing all the way up, right? So first thing price does, it takes out that high, right? Takes out that high. New to text, just let me know what your name is again in the chat so that I know who you are. If you are one of the existing KDT Academy students, we will be having a intro class for the master cohort, and then we'll take applications from there. If you're not yet a student of ours at all and you're watching this, then there will be some links in the description here that you can go ahead and get on our calendar. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, I know you are. We'll definitely be sharing that info with you soon. Okay, so price takes out a high, right? And then goes ahead and goes into a gap. Okay, Mr. Brandon, I will let Coach Cindy know. And I'll let Coach Cindy know. Thank you for that. So price takes out a high, then goes into a gap. Remember what Isabel said. Let me put it on the screen again. It does two things. Reaches for liquidity, taking a high or low, or go to a gap. Right? So then goes to a gap. Then what does it do next? After coming from a gap, what does it go to? It goes and takes out the high, right? and even this high here. Okay. And then what does it do after that? Price goes higher and then reaches for a gap over here. And after reaching for the gap, what does it do? Takes out a high. Then after taking out a high, what does it do? Reach for a gap. What, coach? Are you serious? Yes, every single time. Then takes out a high. And now you might be saying, but there's no gap. Well, when there is no gap, then it goes back to reaching for the low. Right? That's what it does. Over and over. And we can go like anywhere here. There are times where it comes up higher than the previous one. And that's just because it hit a higher time frame high. Now we got 20 people on stream. I expect 20 likes, please. Go ahead and give me 20 likes over there. Right, so let's look what happens over here. Breaks, goes for a low. Right? And what does it do next? Goes to a gap. Right? Goes for a low. What does it do next? Goes for a gap. Now you might be saying, what is that gap he's drawing on? It's called an FEG. Right? So that's what price is doing. And of course, here's a massive gap in here. That's an actual news-based price gap. But even here, what price is actually doing is going for major lows. And then next it's filling in a gap, which is in here. And because that's a major low, we then turn around and we do the opposite, right? So what do? I want you to see this. Goes for a high, right? Reaches for a gap. Goes for a high. What is a high or a low? It's a 3-candle formation. 1 candle high and 2 lower candles on either side. Let me know if you're finding some value in this. This is what price does on every single time frame. And when you see it turn around like this, where it was going high, going for a gap, going high, going for a gap, going high, going for a gap, and it suddenly turns around and does the opposite, all that simply means is wherever it turned around here, that's a higher time frame level. And so it's got to go that way, right? And so on and so on. That's the basics of what the market does every single time. Like I can go to any time frame and you're going to see the same thing. Look here, we can come from this low even. Right? What does it do? Takes that high and then trades to a gap. Then takes out a high and then does what? Trades to a gap. Sideways price action here, right, for a couple of days. But ultimately, after trading into a gap that's holding, goes and takes a high. And then what does it do immediately afterwards? Trades to a gap. And then, I know I sound like a broken record. It's on purpose. Takes out highs and does what? Trades to a gap. Right? And then does what? I hope you're taking notes on this. Takes out a high. And then what does what here? Look at this. Trades to a gap. And then when it changes direction like this, where it changes over, all that means is this is a much higher time frame high here. Right? A much higher time frame high. If I switch up to a different time frame, that high will be so high that this has to turn around. Let me show you. So this is a 4-hour. If I go here, it's going to be a weekly high over here. Right? There will be a weekly 3-candle high over here. Let me show you. Is this guesswork or do I know? Look at that. See that? 1, 2, 3. 3-candle high. Change that to weekly. Time frame alignment. Somebody type that in the chat. Time frame alignment. You got to know your time frame alignment. All right, let me know. Let me see you type it in the chat. You have to know your time frame alignment. One of the reasons I come on the streams and stuff like that is we want to showcase as well. We know what we're doing. Right? Absolutely valuable. I'm not a student, so I don't know what a gap is. No problem. I'll tell you. Right? Of course, if you want to know more, you're going to have to become a student, but I will tell you. Right? A lot of us have been blessed to be given this information. Part of that means that we need to share it as well. We're Christians here at the end of the day, and our values take precedent over everything. So all a gap is a space between. Check this out. Mr. Call, shout out to you as well. Andrea, pay close attention. You can rewatch this as well. It's 3 candles in succession where the middle candle, so let me label it 1, 2, 3, right? Where the middle candle, if you look inside of the middle candle, the wick of the third candle and the first candle do not touch each other or cross over in the same price action. That's what it is. Let me show you an example of one and what is not one. Let me show you that quickly. So here's another one. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, and in the center, the wick of the third one and the wick of the first one, they don't cover the same price action. That's a gap. Right? Here's what's not a gap. There's 1, 2, 3. The wick of the first candle and the wick of the third candle over here, or rather the wick of the first and the wick of the third, they cover the same area and price action. So that is not a gap. Right? There's no space in between those wicks. Now look at the magic when there is space. Takes a high, trades into a gap. Takes a high, trades into a gap. Takes a high, trades into a gap. And stair steps all the way up. Okay, but that's not why I brought you here today. I just needed to show you that so that I can show you what is even more powerful than that, right? Any large move, write this down for your notes. Any large move in the market. Any large move in the market, right? It starts with intermarket divergence. Intermarket divergence. Thank you, Teresa. Now, for my actual masterminds, I want you to pay close attention to this because you guys have heard me speak on divergence before. I want you to think that I was taking you on a journey, Saturday's class, yesterday's class, and now this class. Right? Intermarket divergence. Write that down. When you got all of that down, give me a 10 in the chat. You wrote that down. Give me a 10 in the chat. If you're not taking notes, that's on you. That's your fault. All right? That's your fault. Let me know. Give me a 10 in the chat if you got it down. While you're at it, give me make sure you did like. Here we go. Let's see. 10, 10, 10. Okay. Let's look at a couple of large moves in the market over here. I took all of that off. Let's go to a daily. And I'm going to highlight some points. That point. That's a large drop there. This point. That point. Let's do this one. What am I doing? Just selecting certain areas in the market where the market came to a point and then seemed to go drastically different from that point onwards, and came to a point then drastically different from that point onwards. Came to a point and then drastically different from that point onwards. You know what? We can even put on this one over here. We'll check why this fell in the way that it fell today. And we'll actually go lower as well to kind of look at what's happening. But my pleasure, Andrea. What you have to know. Thank you for that amazing explanation. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. What you have to know is that every large move in the market starts with intermarket divergence. Right? Intermarket divergence is the institutions tipping their hand, saying to you that, hey, we're about to get involved in the market. Right? In the market. We're about to get involved in the market. So here's what I want you to write down. Pay attention to the candle closes. Right? To the candle closes. And the new opens. Remember what I taught you yesterday in yesterday's session? I'm not going to cover that again. You have to go watch it again. Is that you should not be trading at the end of an existing candle, but you trade at the open of the new candle. Right? That alone would make so much of your trades a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to go to the intermarket of this chart. The Euro USD, the intermarket divergence chart for that would be the dollar, the DXY. Now the DXY is inversely correlated. Some of you are going to miss this part. Write it down. It's inversely correlated, which means when the euro goes up, the dollar goes down. Let me show you. Right? When the euro goes up, the dollar goes down. When the dollar goes up, the euro goes down. But what I do to make it easier for myself, I forget what the shortcut is on a Windows PC, but if you have these two charts up side by side, on a Mac it's Option I, and I think it might be Windows I, right? The Windows key I. And all I'm doing is I'm putting it in the same direction so it's easier for me to spot the intermarket relationship. If I kept it the same, by the way, this is higher grade level what you guys are getting now. Chris says Alt I. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. All right. Now I'm going to find the same spots in the market. Now I want to caution you here. These markets are so closely correlated, they fool you sometimes to think that you have the same area, but you don't. Right? Sometimes it's obvious, but never ever on the lower time frame guess it. What you want to do on the lower time frame is you want to take your crosshair tool over here on the left, and you want to move it over certain areas to make sure you're on the same spot. Look at this. When I put it on this chart on the left, it shows me the exact point on the right. Now I want to show you something. I'm going to put on that same area there. I'm going to put on this area here. Let me do this. Right? I'm going to put on this one over here. And I'm going to put on, see, this is what's important. Put your actual crosshair over there to find the exact candle. Right? I'm going to do that over there. And last but not least, I'm going to put this one here. Okay. So price only does two things. It either goes to a gap, right? Or it goes to a high or a low. Right? My objective here today is not to show you all the ins and outs of every single thing, but more so just to get you to think about what's possible when you see this. Time frame alignment, absolutely. Okay, so let's go to the first one. Right? Over here. They look similar, right? It looks like this one's at the low. Give me a 10 in the chat if they look similar. You know what? Give me 11 in the chat if they look similar. I'm going to wait for that. 11, 1, 1. Give me a 1, 1. If this part here looks similar to that part here. Right? If you can see it, they look the same. So here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to take a horizontal line and put it at the low there. Right? There's a reason I'm doing this. And I'm going to put one there. Now we're just going to focus on this one for now. Right? Just on that one. In fact, let me see if I can replay it to that point. Okay. I want you to look at that spot, right? They look very similar. But what did price do from that point onwards? It gave a massive rally up, which tells me that the rules state that an intermarket relationship means that one of them are going to do something different, and when they do something different, that is the signature in price action that the market is about to shift. Right? That is the signature. Sometimes it's very subtle, but it's there. So we're going to look at these lows, and we're going to look to the left and see if they are the same. So let me go up a higher time frame just so we don't have to go that far back. And this is where the crosshair comes in, right? Maybe I shouldn't have gone to one this far, but let's just bring it up to an even higher time frame. Maybe it's easier to see. Okay, crosshair, that's the same candle. So everything looks the same there. That's fine. So it's not on that time frame. Weekly. I'll show you when I spot it. Weekly. Same candle over here. I should probably start with one that's a bit further, a bit closer to current price, because this is too far for you to see to the left. Let's do that. Let me go to one that's closer to current price. I'll do the next one. I don't want to confuse you on the first one that I'm doing. So let's go up to the next one on top. I do see it there. For those of you who are mastermind, if you go later, just look at the one hitting the last two candles to the downside versus the other one not. So it is there. I just don't want to go that far. Let's go to the next one over here. Let me play price up into the same level. Okay. Here's something I want you to see. Intermarket relationships, right? Intermarket relationships tells us that one of them are going to do one thing and the other one's going to do the other thing. Right? Now, where do you see it, coach? Remember what Isabel said earlier on. The market only does two things. Either goes for a high or a low, right? Or it goes into a gap. So let's start looking at what we can possibly see. Over here, price creates an equal, you see this equal high, right? There's an equal high over there. Over here, there's a gap, right? You guys see that? Let me draw your attention to something. If I do the same thing on this side, number one, it doesn't reach that high. So it's not equal. Number two, it goes into the gap. But I'm going to show you something very subtle. But it's this very subtle thing that makes the market change direction. Right? You might not see it now. But watch what happens when I take this and I put it on that candle that creates the gap. Here's the gap. Right? Look at that. It's slanting up. Now what if I do the same here? On there and on that same point. Wait a minute. Do you guys see that? The one is slanting up and the other one is slanting down. That is the signature that price is about to change direction. What if I told you that that signature is present at every correct entry? Would that blow your mind? I mean, I just replayed the chart of this random spot, right? What if we could follow every entry all the way down till here, till this level, and every entry have that same signature? Would that be interesting? Make sure you like and then also give me an 8 in the chat. I'll say it again, but you'll see it as I go through it. Price only ever does two things. Now, if you're part of the KDT Trading Academy, this is a mastermind level thing, right? This is a mastermind level thing, so it's going to be a lot. I don't expect you to get all of this, right? I'm trying to show you what's possible. Thank you for the 8s. Notice that here's a 3 candle formation. So a red candle down, and green candle. There's a gap inside of that. Price has been trading inside of this area for a couple of times. Then suddenly price comes up, clears that middle candle on this one. Price comes up, does not clear the middle candle on that one. These charts should be doing the same thing at the same time. The moment there's a crack in correlation like that, it's a signal that something's about to change. Right? Yes, Chris. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I'm not even just going to say, why don't we just go to a random piece of price action and let me prove to you that on this way down to that next one, that signature will be present at every single point that the market expands even further. Would that be good? Right? You guys put an 8 in the chat. That's a daily chart. Let's go to a 1 hour. Right? Same chart. 1 hour. Might be hard to show you all of them at the same time, but I'm going to try and attempt. Bring it quite closer. Let me play out a large portion of it first, and then we'll go through all of it together. Let me just play it down for a bit. Okay. You know what? Let me see if I can get it on the 4 hour just for clarity of the chart. Let's do this. Okay. So let's say you come on a day where you capture this particular red candle down over here. Remember, what I don't want you to do is look at all these things and say to yourself, oh, but why not catch that one? Why not catch this one? No, it's going to be session dependent, right? When you come into the session, what you see, what's available in that session, what sets up, and so on, right? So let's start with this first move down over here. Let's see what we can see. Isabel said, and I say as well, the price only ever does two things. Goes into a gap or clears a high or a low, right? So here's a high. I want you to look closely here. This is the high, right? The crosshair is on it. Now look at the other chart on the other side. Now look what happens. Let me show you. See how that goes down? See how that goes up? Now we don't trade the DXY, we trade the Euro. But notice at the impulse move, where this move happens, right? That is the exact point, right, where that actual divergence is. Okay? Now let's see, here's another drop over here. Right? There's a large drop down over here. Now, okay, this one's got a bit of a gap, so it's going to be harder to see inside of here. It's going to be on a lower time frame, so let's leave that one for now. Because it's going to be inside of the gap on the lower time frames. It's going to be harder to point out. Okay. Price only ever does two things, right? Either clears a high or a low. Follow along with me. You're about to see something. Or goes into a gap. Okay, so here's a gap. Right? Let me find that same gap on this chart. It's over here. Right? Coach, that looks the same. You're wrong. It doesn't. Why did it drop from here? You're wrong. It looks the same. Okay, let me just get some more candles on here. Go a bit further down. The replay tool is not working in tandem here. Does this look the same to everyone? Now, a mastermind student who's looking really closely to this will see the difference. All you need to do is find out, okay, where did the impulse down come from? Okay, here's a strong drop, red candle down. Give me a 7 in the chat if you can see that red candle dropping down there. Right? Now let me show you something you didn't spot until I show it to you. This is why you use the crosshair. When you see where the crosshair is, look at this. You don't look at both charts, because if you don't use the crosshair, you won't see the correct candle. It will make you think that this high, this is what you'll be seeing now. You think that that high and that high is the same spot. It's not. The markets are designed to fool you. Let me show you why. Look at when I put this, sorry, wait, this high and that high is the same spot. I'm wrong. I'm talking about this one lower. Let me show you here. Let me take that off. I want you to look at this candle. Look here. See how that one's going up? I want you to see the same candle on this side is here. And you tell me, where does that drop come in? Right? Now let me put the crosshairs on so you can see that that's the same candle. There you go. Right? That candle over there. Actually, it's actually even higher. Let me go to this one. It's even higher. I'm mixing this up. So the thing about TradingView, sometimes I have to reset it to click multiple times to get it to come back. It is this candle. It's now shifting. No, man. Where are we now? It's moving the highlights over. That's that candle. Over there. Yeah, there we go. That one and that one. It's there. Right? Look at that. Slanting down. Slanting up. And that's exactly where that movement in the market comes up. And this is a 4 hour. I should be doing this on an actual 1 hour. Now, let's look at the bottom over here. This is where the market decides to go up again. Okay, now let's move it to the bottom over here. Okay. That looks the same, right? Give me a 12 in the chat if you can spot the difference. Now you have to understand these markets, the dollar and the euro, they move exactly the same. The moment there's a crack in correlation, something changes. And I know you don't think it's that simple, but it literally is. All I need to do is I need to look at where that impulse comes, right? When I'm learning, this is how I learn. Remember, the circling is what I do when I learn. I need to look at where that impulse comes, but really what I actually need to do is I need to see where the difference comes into the actual market. Now, there's a couple of differences here, but I'll just show you the one that's easiest to spot. 3 candles over here. That goes like that. And look what this does. Now, isn't it interesting that on the top it did the opposite? And at the bottom, because it's going to turn around, it does this. Right? These two, I'm really focused on these two. These two slant up. Right? Because we're focusing on the lowest point. The lowest point is this one. The next one slants higher. This one slants down. And that's the turning point. That's literally where price will not go lower than this point. It starts to go up from that point. Isn't that interesting? Intermarket divergence. Now, if you're trading stocks and you're trading others, every one of them has got an intermarket divergence. Gold is with silver. Right? The S&P is with the NASDAQ. If you're trading futures, the M&Q is with the ES. They all got their partner. Right? Now, what is this actually? Would it surprise you that if I go lower down, all this is one market doing this? And for those of you who find this part harder to see, this is what you should do. In fact, let me draw it correctly on both sides. It is a W forming like this. For my masterminds, it's a W1 and a W2. One of the charts form a W1, one of the charts form a W2. And the other one forming this. So one of them slants up like that. And the other one slants down like that. Right? And that is a signature that the market would move. If those were reversed, would the same results be expected? Yes. Good question, Chris. If this one happened on this side and that one happened on that side, same results. All this means to me is that the euro in this case is the stronger pair because it's failing to make new lows than the actual dollar. But very good question, Chris. Very. Now let me prove this to you. That's the W. That's the W. This is the 4 hour. If I go to the 15 minute, you're going to see this. Memorize that and memorize that real quick. Here we go. Let me show you. Right? You see that? Show you this one first. I'll bring it over so you can see it closer. There you go. You see that W on the correlated time frame? And you know you've got the correct thing. Look at that. That's the turning point. That W paired with this one, it's got to make a lower low on the right. Check this out. Lower low on the right. Boom. Higher low on the left. That's the signature, everyone. That's the turning point of every market that is correlated to another. I would tell you that all the large moves in the market are signed with this particular signature. The one does one and the other one does the other. How do you discover this, coach? You circle many different things until you discover this. Years of doing this. Now, let's go up again. You have to rewind if you miss that part. You have to go and watch it again, right? Let's go up from here with a 1 hour, right? And we're going to look at, as we move up to the next circle on top, right? I'm going to show you what the market does. Let me zoom in and get them lined up well here. And by the way, Euro USD is also correlated with the GBP USD, right? So if it's not on the DXY, it's on the GBP USD. But I'm not gonna go through all of them right now. I want to show you how the markets move and tend to fool you as well, right? Over here, price only does two things: goes into a gap, here's the gap, or takes a low. Why? Right? Now look at this. This one arguably overshoots that one quite strongly. This one I would bet money on. If you go to the GBUSD right now, it's not going to go into that level. It's going to stay out of that level over there. Let me just check. Okay, so it's not that one. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting. We turned around here at the bottom, so it won't be that close. Now let's move up. Let's move up. Let's move up. Let's move up. Let me play some more. So usually what you'll find, I want all these gaps in price action, man. I'll play it out until I see another one. So remember, you're trading this and you're waiting to see what the market will do, and it will be as subtle as this, right? Watch this, Andrea. It will be as subtle as this. How is my eye spotting it like that? I've been doing that very long. Now, will it just be that on its own? No, it's going to be at the correct time of day as well. But it's going to be as subtle as that. I'm going to teach everybody in the cohort how to spot this faster. Right? Let me actually check the 4 hour real quick. If I can go up on the 4 hour time frame a bit better. See, on the 4 hour, these are correlated. And at the end, I'll show it to you on lower time frame. So let's keep going. Play it out. Play some more. This is the same, so that's no difference. Doesn't mean the price can't move up from there. It just means that these two are now in sync. So every time the dollar and for those who are taking notes, every time the dollar and the euro gets in sync, the difference will be on the pound. On the pound, it will definitely be not in sync on the pound. There'll be a variation. Let me play it out some more. When I see another one that's clear, I'll show you. Now, some of these that are happening here, you might say, but oh, we missed it. But no, you didn't, because it's out of session. Right? We're waiting for the ones that are happening inside of session. Let me bring this down. I don't want to keep you guys too long on this. I'm arguably probably missing some, but I'm just trying to get the obvious ones now. Let me see. That low. This low over here, these are equal lows. And then this one goes lower. And that will usually signal a turning point as well. Now, when you're actually looking for entries, trust me, you're going to see it much more clear. This might also be one. Check this out. Not sure yet. We'll see if it is. We'll see now if it is. Maybe the other one just goes lower. Yeah, it's going lower. Not by much. Oh no. It's low over there. So even these drops. Watch this. Look at where the impulse comes in. Every time. You wait for that, you get a better signal. Let me take you to higher price action so that you can see it a bit more clearly. And really the idea is you pair the higher price action, right, with the lower ones. I'm going to clear some of this. So let me play it out till the top area over there. Chart's a bit slow, forgive me. So let me give you, I'll give you a link right now. I want to make sure, I think the link should be in the actual description of this stream. That's something I requested today be done. But let me just quickly check if it is. Give me a second. Yeah, in the link of this stream, there's all the information now to get in contact with us. Right? Thank you, Andrea. So let me quickly just take you guys through a lower time frame. You know what? Let's do this one first. When you look at two higher time frame candles like this, they're supposed to be doing the same thing. If they don't do the same thing, they signal a large move in the market. This one's going up and that one's going down. Now, to the person who's thinking, Coach, how will I know that that's actually happening if this candle's still forming? Let me show you. Remember, we do not trade the close of the old candle. We trade, if you listen to the last lesson we did, you trade the open of the new candle. So the old candle is just closed. We're going to look at the open of the new candle. This is a daily chart. I'll go to 1 hour. I want you to pay attention when the 1 hour touches that line, because that will be the open of the new, the open of the new daily. I'm going to show you something interesting now. Right at the moment it touches that line and then goes ahead and breaks a series of down candles here, or a series of, this is green because it's been inverted, a series of down candles. It's just green because it's inverted, right? That, just that alone can be your entry. Remind me to teach us in the code. You guys are gonna foam at the mouth for this one. Oh, I have to do this opposite way to put a short position on because it's inverted, even though it's a long. Right, there we go. Now we're on to the lower time frames, right? This is where it gets more interesting because you start to see the nuances. Price can only do two things. If you utilize this on a lower time frame, you're going to have the best entries possible. Let me show you. Here's a gap over here. By the way, let me know in the chat if I'm teaching good. Here's a gap over here. Notice how we do not go into this one. Let me take off this green so you can see it better. Notice how we do not go into this one, but on that one we do. That's intermarket divergence. That's a signal that price is going to go up from that point onwards. And the lower you go on time frames, you'll see more and more and more of this phenomenon. Notice over here, we trade into a gap. Notice over here, look how fast I'm spotting this, by the way. Notice over here, we don't have a gap. There's no gap. So on the one we trade into a gap, on the other one we don't trade into a gap, and what happens? Intermarket divergence, price launches off and goes higher. You're going to spot some interesting things here. Right? Let me show you. I'm waiting for price to turn up again. Okay, look at this. Boom. Where's this one? There. Down, up. Now we go up again. Okay, so we hit a higher time frame level there. So we're likely coming into something higher time frame over here. So I'm moving up to the 4 hour. Look at this. We go lower. We stay higher. Coach, how would you catch that one? Let me show you. In the same way. Right here, if that's a 4 hour, 15 minute. I could even go down to 5 minutes if I wanted to. We play it out for you. Once we get over this candle, because that's a large one, that will become the actual entry mechanism over there. Stop over here. I can't point this out enough. You should start to see that the markets are doing different things. Here's no gap. There is a gap. Price trades up. Look at that. Every single point. Right? Every single point. I'm going to take it to a lower time frame and show you something. In fact, let me show you where I was trading today. Right? Let me show you where I was trading today. Utilizing that same thing. First things first, I'm looking at the daily. And you're going to say, how is this possible? I'll show you where I was trading today. Look at this. Zoom in here. I zoom in there. Okay. So to your eye, it looks like we're at the same spot. Right? But notice carefully what's happening here. We're doing that while we're doing this. Count the candles. Can you guys see that? Give me a 27 in the chat if you can see that that's the same candles. I'm going to show you the buy and the sell that I took. And I can tell you beforehand what's there because I know what I took. There's going to be both this daily divergence at that particular point and 1 hour divergence at that point as well. Right? Look at this. When I go to the 1 hour, you might be thinking, but there's no trade there. I'm going to show you. Right? That's where the charts are now. But at the time of my first trade, it was like this and like that. Right? Those are the accurate points. Same points on the chart. This is when the market opens. Right? We're diverging down. We're diverging up. What do I need now? Right at that point. Switch over to the 5 minute. Same rules I gave you earlier on, so I can't make it up, right? We clear that eye. Clear that candle. Or clear that candle. Now, I'm going to say this. When I told you earlier, I said the series of down close candles. This part I'm going to keep for our mastermind why I'm only using this one candle in this scenario. Right? Remember, masterminds, I told you that I have something called Model 1. This is Model 1. Here's my first trade. We clear this candle, drop back in, tag, and go up to the high. Right? That's when you get entered. And boom, that's when I get exit. Right? Let me know if that's impressive or not. But. The overall market is down. And here's how I know that the market is down. Utilizing the same thing. Just to prove to you I know where we are in price. How do I know that the overall market is down? If we go up to the weekly, right, you're going to see a phenomenon over here on the weekly. And it's the same phenomenon that I've been talking about the whole entire lesson. We're almost done. Isn't this amazing? Look at this. It's the signal, everybody. It's the signal that there's going to be a turn in the market. So I know that the overall market is down, so I need to position myself again on the downside. Now, I'm not going to go into all of this now, but it's time frame alignments. Right? So how do I get the second trade down? Let me show you. I know the over market's down. That's a 4 hour. This is a weekly, so I have to go to a 4 hour. And now I'm looking for 4 hour divergence. Market only does two things. Either goes to a gap, right? Either goes to a gap or clears a high and a low. Let's draw on the gaps. Here's my 4 hour gap. Here is my same 4 hour gap. You have to include that volume imbalance, right? Even if I didn't include the volume imbalance and I did that, that's the same one. But you have to include the volume imbalance in that, right? Notice the difference. Gap tagged, gap not tagged, right? The one goes into it and the other one doesn't go into it at all. That's the signature. Now you could even go with the crosshair. I believe if I go over here, yeah, was this the one? No, this is not the one. This is I'm talking about the other chart. Sorry, but that gap gets hit. I mean, this gap gets missed. That gap gets hit, and it's about timing. So when does this gap get hit in New York session? Let me show you. If you look at the market go up there, right? Right in that 11 area. Now, here's some more here. Watch. I think it's on one of those. Yeah. Yeah. Another one. That's another signal. Remember, it was a 4 hour gap. I looked to a 15-minute to give me that extra confirmation. Then I do this. 4 hour 15. Somebody put in the chat, what's my next time frame? 4 hour 15. What's my entry time frame? Let me show you that the masterminds know what I'm talking about. It's a consistent thing I've shown you across all now. It's going to take you some time to learn. Right? It's going to take you some time to learn, but I'm telling you, it's there every single time. It allows me to buy the market up, sell the market down. Do I always get it right? Of course not. Right? But if I know that this is supposed to hit and it doesn't get hit and that one does get hit, that's the signature. Absolutely 1 minute. So let's look. Go down to the 1 minute. We wait till that line on top gets hit. Play it out. Right? The line gets hit. There's that. There's that. Now, when you pay close attention. Right? When you see something. Play it out slowly. Anybody notice anything? Let me know. Here's the first thing you'll see. Divergence on all time frames. It's fractal. What do we get next? After divergence, we wait for a cap. Right? Already, if you wanted to, the first trade comes over here. Let me show you. Stop above that high. Why? Students, you know what type of candle this is. And gap here, no gap there, same signal. This was my second trade. By the way, I didn't take it all the way there. Now watch. Show you something interesting on the way down. You're going to see it over and over and over again. Any impulsive move, especially on these lower time frames, right? I know it's quite small, so you guys might not be able to see it. See that high and that high? It's different. It looks like it's that candle. It isn't. See that? It might be difficult. You might have to pause this to see this one. Right? And here's an example as well. We go higher over there. Right? And over here, we slant lower. Signature again. I hope you guys are finding value in this. Thank you for sticking with me. We're almost done. It's hard to see in the beginning, but it makes so much sense, right? Now let's look. I want to see what happens over here. By the way, I didn't take it this low down. I got it there on top, so I didn't follow all of this after that point. But I want to see what happens. Okay, that eye gets taken, that eye gets taken. This gap is the gap we currently traded into on this side. Let's see. Do we miss that one? Yes or no? Look at that. So far we did. Let's see if it continues to miss it. Hits it there, misses it here. That's the signature again. Right? Should start expanding down now. There we go. Some of you are finding value in this. And now it just starts ripping away. Right? We're going to see if we get another one of those things. I'm still waiting and seeing. I don't see it yet. Nah, it's just expanding now. I'm waiting for it to swing up. There might be something. Not yet. I'll tell you if I spot it. Here's something. Might be something. I don't know. Might be something. Let's see. See that? Look at that. Can you guess that? Right? What is that candle? That's that gap candle again. Same one over here. What's the difference? Here we clear that high. Here we don't. When does the expansion come in? Immediately afterwards. Coincidence that that drops from that point? No. Let me show you even. There's a gap. Crosshair tool over it. Where's that? Over here. No gap. That deviation causes the expansion. You think this stuff is coincidence? It's not. It's not coincidence at all. Every large move in the market is characterized by this particular phenomenon. Now we're almost at the end of this overall zone. Let's see what happens here at the end. And then I'll show you the last move down is likely also characterized by that. Waiting for it. Oh, we already cleared the low, did we? Yeah, it's not important once we clear the low. Okay. Let me see what high is this. These are equal. You might have missed that one. This is equal highs. And this is a slanted one. Look where the expansion comes in. Right there. Right there. Every single time. Now, I'm on FXCM. If you go to another broker, you're likely going to see this be higher than that. And that's where that signal comes in. This characterizes every large move in the market. You could go to, last thing I'll show you, you go to a monthly. You remove all that drawings. Let me take off the replay. This is especially powerful for entries. You can literally time your entries perfectly with this. Right? I forgot what I wanted to show now. Yeah, look at this. Even large moves on a monthly. All I do is I find that large move. Here's the massive drop. Up. Down. Subtle, but always there. Always there. At that massive expansion or drop, it is always there. Now, of course, I'm just going to a random time frame. You might be saying, but what about it not being here? I can tell you it's easier. I just don't know what time frame we should be on at this particular high now. It might be a 2-month, might be a 3-month, might be whatever. You will know when you're dealing with intraday price action. Look how subtle this is. Let me show you. Look at this large. Can you guys agree? Over here is a massive drop. Right? We go to that same point. What do we see? Those two candles up. Those two candles down. Coincidence? No. Everything else is the same. These things give you the actual signature in the market. And they're on both sides of the market, by the way. Every buy, every sell, they are there. Right? Now, you might not always be able to catch it right at the bottom. They're not always showing on the same time frame. You might be looking at this time frame here. Let me show you. How did we get this large move up here? Let's see. Like this. There's your large move. Find the right low. See that? That's different. That becomes that signal. Now I'm going to make it a lot more simple in the actual cohort. Right? We'll cover this on a simpler basis. I have been grinding away, people. Been slaving away to make it awesome. Would it surprise you that if we went right down to that actual low, since it's the actual low, right there at the actual low, isn't it possible, isn't it amazing rather, that even that does that and this does this? When I tell you the market is manipulated, it absolutely is. Look at that subtle thing over there. And we could go down over here to the hour, then to the 15, then to the 1 minute. It's all going to have that same signature before it starts to move up. The absolute low and the absolute high of the market is always characterized by that divergence. And then inside of the market on its way down, it is characterized by this. Only does two things. Either goes into a gap or goes above a high or a low. And in this case, goes into a gap there, misses the gap there. When does the large drop come? Immediately after. Drop. Drop. How do you pick that divergence in real time? Exactly like I showed you. Like I showed you, right? Remember, you got to know when the new candle is opening. I don't want to go into depth on this right now, but in real time, it's actually easier. It's easier than spotting it on the chart like this, in the sense that you're just waiting until. Where am I now? I wanted to show you the exact one. Okay, let me replay the chart here. I'll show you. It's still going to be harder for you to see in a live market. In a real time, the new monthly candle opens on this day. Let me prove it to you. I'll show you. We go down to the daily. We look at the timestamp on that particular day when it opens. Where is that new monthly candle? It is there. It's going to come over there. Which actually means we're going to get another we're going to get another divergence here now. Right? So new monthly candle is about to open over there, which means somewhere in this area we're going to get it again. This is obviously, if we were dealing with this, we could have been dealing with the daily candles, but now we're dealing with the monthly candles. Let me show you real quick. I'm waiting for it to appear. When it does, I'll show you. Okay, it looks like it's gonna happen over here. Right? Let me find that in the crosshair. There. Okay, so maybe this comes lower down. Let me just see. I'll tell you when it happens. TradingView is not playing the candles at the exact same time, so I'm losing it a bit. Over there, let me see. Not yet. You see, there's supposed to be another candle. It's missing one. I'm still waiting. Okay, I've actually missed it already. My bad. Because I'm looking at two candles on both sides. Here you go. This is why you use the crosshair. It's that one there. And this one here. See, when I put the crosshair over that candle, it's that candle. Look at that, right? Look at the candle. The crosshair is on the same candle on both sides. This one went lower. And why is that one significant? Because that's the one with the gap. So it went lower than the gap over here. And on here, it didn't go lower than the gap. Watch carefully. This is real time. Let me play it out further. It's going further lower than the gap. All right. Now, if this was the time that you're going to enter in on, if you were entering off of a daily, right, and this happens, goes lower, that one goes there, depending on which chart you're on, you'd start taking the trade over there, right? You take the trade on that gap, stop below the low. Same thing over there. If you were on a lower time frame, such as the hour, you just go look here on the hour, because that's diverging there, which means the hour, I don't think I can go to the hour, right? You know what? That was told to me by, Chris, over here. You click on the replay, the arrow here, and say all charts. That was told to me by a student, actually, because I used to struggle with that as well. I'm going to show you right now. So if you were on the daily, you'd be longing over here, or market executing at the point that this diverges right there, right? If you were on the 1 hour, you'll use this higher time frame divergence. It's happening now. And then you'll go down and you'll say, I'm not entering off of that higher time frame. So I see the daily diverging over here at this particular area. So I'm going to take that 1 hour. I'm going to look for the same thing. And this is the last thing I'm doing before we calling it on the stream. I'm going to show you that somewhere in this movement is going to give us divergence again. That would be the entry. Let me see. That takes a low. That takes a low. Okay. I'm only looking at gaps and lows, by the way. Anytime I see a gap go traded in on the one and not traded in on the other one, or traded beyond on the one and not traded beyond on the other one, that's the signal. One more candle. I'll tell you when I see it. Okay. Look at this. There, so far, and here. When we trade up next, that will be the entry. Here's the entry. Why is that the entry? Because that's where we diverged. See? Not lower, but yet is lower. That becomes the entry. Stop below the divergence. We should be protected now. Price shouldn't take us out. If it does, we'll take another trade, but it shouldn't take us out at this point. Okay, takes us out. That happens because we might have been... Oh, wrong time of day. That's Asia. Just about to say it might be the wrong time of day. I don't trade the Asia session with this. Let me just keep going along. I'll show it to you when it happens again. So forget that one. That's the wrong time of day. It's a lot easier in session with your actual lower time frame entry, such as a 5 minute and so on and so on. I'll tell you when it comes back. We'll probably get a New York or a London session on this one. I'm watching it closely, watching every low and every high. Sorry, every low and every gap. Of course, I will choose the most choppy price action for this particular one. Let me see. Okay. Might have just missed that now because I played it out too fast. Look here. One goes into a gap. Let me take this off. One goes into a gap and the other one doesn't, if I'm correct. No, that's not into a gap, so that's not it. Give me a moment. So I'm dealing with much higher time frames here, so I am likely missing them subtly. Let's just wait till a new one appears here somewhere. Both go into a gap, so we're not looking at that one. Although, how do I pick my exit? Yeah, that's not for today. That's going to be too much. But let me give you a tip on that. The same way you pick your entry is the same way you pick your exit. This is far up. I wouldn't normally want to take one that's this high up in the actual range, but that is session still. There is divergence and there is some highs here. So let me just, typically the last thing I do on a stream is usually a loss. So let's see if this is the same. Oh, what choppy price action this is. Did we clear the high there already? Not yet. Let's keep going and see. Okay, lower again. What time frames am I on here? Okay, we're back in a gap. So this first one should have been taken. The second one, though, is a valid loss. That's a valid loss. We do get some movement there. So depending on how you actually trade it, 1 to 1 is not, 1 to 1.5 is not what I do. I'm still waiting for the actual divergence to come again. I'll show you when I see it. I want to end the stream. This thing is taking too much of my time now. Come on. I've chosen the worst possible part on the chart to do this on. Choppy price action. I'll tell you when I see it. Let's see. Crosshair. That low gets taken. That low gets taken. This one. Okay. There we go. If this one comes down, we're calling it a day. It's not starting to counter prove what I'm trying to show. Let's see. Are you serious? Come on. Give me my money. Okay, that's a profitable trade. Alright, so the first one, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, now, the first one, this is not supposed to be a trade, that's Asian session. This one here is a valid loss. I'll take that on the chin. So that one is -1, and then this one is running at least 2R, so we're profitable at least 1% profitable extra above our loss there. And then if we get up to 3R, which is where I actually take it to, which is there, we'd be 2% in profit based on that. Hopefully that proves the point. How did I get at a random spot like that? It's not a random spot, right? I'm seeing what it's doing. I could have gotten in there, but I missed it already, so I didn't want to fool you guys. So we did that. There's it. There's the change. There's the entry. There's the move out. Right? I would not be able to do that if I didn't follow the same set of rules. This one, not a trade. That one, perfectly valid loss. And then this one, second attempt, that is a perfectly valid win. Right? And again, if you stick to your guns, take the stops where you're supposed to take them, then it wouldn't matter. Right? If you take those losses. It wouldn't matter. But the real magic is when you've got that higher time frame view, like today, I'll end off with this. When you've got that higher time frame view, which by the way, I've been trading the same portion of price action. I'll just show you when it becomes powerful, because you're only really looking at the opens of the new candle. So when you've got that higher time frame view and it's already starting to play out like this, you go to your 4 hour, right, which I was on, and I was looking for my first sell. My first sell came here. Do you see this? Of course, on lower time frame. And remember what I said yesterday. Don't sell, right? Don't sell the close of the old candle. Sell the open of the new, and that's the one. Down. Right? Then there was another one over here. See that? Now, am I doing that and saying, okay, let me see that candle? No, I'm going to a lower time frame. I'm noticing at the open that there's a change in the delivery of both candles. And then, of course, I'm using the normal stuff you guys know me for. Right? Here's your stop on breaker structures. All of that stuff is in there. But I'm using that point, that divergence point. And students, you know I've always said this in class. I never ever enter a trade without looking for divergence. Right? And so that was that. And I showed you today's one there. And then, of course, the dollar one up from here. From here earlier today. My belief is that we're still going to go down. Why? Because the weekly is down based on that. And when we get to 4 hour, we're doing a master pattern to the downside. Right? So we're going to get further downside. Where I will change my actual view, I'll tell you now, is if the only time I believe that we're going to go up for a longer period of time is if we clear and close above that gap. In the absence of clear and closing above that gap, we're going to go further down. That's my view on this market. Thank you, everybody. I know there's a lot of information. As stated, it is 11 p.m. in South Africa at the moment. Most of my South African friends are probably sleeping at this particular point. But I wanted to hang on with you guys and give you guys some value as well. Please make sure that you have liked this actual stream. This is the longest one I've done so far this week. Not sure I'm going to be doing one every day. But I want to motivate you guys again to stay connected in the actual challenge trade. Try and get active there as well. It's about you. The competition is you, right? That's what it's about. Now, if that whole session today has gone over your head, that's totally okay, right? I'm trying to open your mind to what the manipulation in the market is. The way you get there and the way you find it, the way you utilize it, that is totally up to you. Remember, the open of the next candle. That is where you'll first see it. So if you wanted to do this, and for the person who's still sticking on and listening right now, what if for the next week all you did was look at when the next 4 hour candle opens? Is it taking a low on the one? Is it running into a gap on the other one? Or is it not taking a low on the one and not taking a gap on the other one? That's your sign. It's just a 4 hour candle. That's all you have to do is let one close and let the next one open. Right? There's a specific reason I'm giving you the 4 hour candle as opposed to the daily or the 1 hour or anything like that. It's because the 4 hour candle, right? The 4 hour candle gives you the trades within the sessions of the day. How long has the competition been on? It's been on for 2 weeks, Mr. Will. This is week number 2. We have been sending out emails to everyone. Andrea says this class was fire. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea, tell me, have you been on the last 2? Because Saturday's one was fire as well. Right? Saturday's one was fire as well. So all you need to do is look at every single 4 hour candle open and you will be surprised. Now, when you add that to what I said yesterday, right? Which is trade the open of the new candle, not the close of the one before. And you add in session timing, it changes the game. As a last single note, don't only look at the candle right next to it. Look to the left. If the one takes any candle on the left and the other one doesn't, that's the signal. Right? That's the signal. Yeah, I got a lot more coming for you guys, and in a simpler fashion. The cohort, we're going to talk about internal to external again in a new way. I'm going to teach you the master patterns, where to find them, what each stage means, and how to look for them. And let me just say that this divergence aspect is going to be a signal for you to find every single level as we go along. Once you guys have gone through, especially the masterminds who's been with us for a while, once you've gone through maybe 2 or 3 cohorts, or maybe just 1 or 2, I believe that you will be able to see things a lot better than you've been able to see it before. If you are diligent, you study, and we do exactly what I said, which is, if I'm going to give you homework this week, you're going to actually do it by next week. That's going to change it, right? That's going to change the game. We have 1 more day and 18 hours left to the competition. That actually means that by Thursday's class, I believe, we shall know who the winners are and what some of the prizes are as well. So, Andy, if you want to do yourself a major favor, if you think this was impressive, go and look at the last one on Saturday, because on Saturday's one, it will be even easier for you to see what I'm teaching, right? So you'll value that as well. But Andy, get in contact with us. Let's see what we can do about getting you in the academy. If any of you are ex-mastermind students as well, we are running a discount on a rejoin at the moment if you wanted to, so let us know. All the links are in the description. Email us, let us know, and we will get back to you. Other than that, even if you can't join, even if you can't be part of it now or anything, that's totally okay. As you all know, we don't believe in taking food off people's table. This is I believe I've given tremendous value across this particular week, and even in the videos that were on this channel before that. And I'm going to do a lot more things on this particular channel. Right? Thank you, Andrea, for that. Everybody, you guys be blessed on purpose. Also, if you haven't caught, I think it might be Friday, or yeah, I'm not sure. I did Friday's stream, I did Saturday's stream. One of them, if you're diligent enough, might just be a very good testimony for you guys to go and hear if you missed that class. So you can hear some of my testimony in there as well. Much more of that to come. You guys be blessed on purpose. Sorry for keeping you so long. Hour and 36 minutes through to form. I'm going to be tired tomorrow. But it was fun being on here. You guys be blessed. Love you all. Thank you all for showing up. Goodbye.